guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui. On this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos every Wednesdays and Saturdays. Now over the last couple of weeks I've been dropping videos, bits and pieces of how to make a trouser. This video is, I think, would be the last piece of the puzzle. In this video I'll show you how to make a welt pocket. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you on today's was Saturday. You know, being at home like this over this past few months because of this thing going on, I don't even know when it's Monday, when it's Wednesday anymore. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Today is Saturday. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a nice day. Bye bye. You're welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a welt pocket easily. All right, so now I'll use the back of this short. Okay, this is a short, as you can see, so I'm going to use the back here to show you guys how to make the welt. But whatever I do here can be applied to whatever you're doing. If you're applying the welt to a dress, if you're applying it to, you could apply this to a dress, a jacket, you can apply this to a trouser, a short, whatever you're working on. This is just how to make a welt, but it happens that I'm going to show you guys using the back of my trouser. All right, so let's get on with it. So this is the pattern that we have here. All right, so now the first thing you need to know is you need to be sure of how long you want the welt to be. Of course, that's the first thing we're going to attack. So you see this part here. Okay, this is where I have my dart. Okay, see where my dart ends. Okay, there's that at the back of my trouser. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all decide how long I want my welt to be. All right, so if you are making a trouser, now you see this curve that we always have here. All right, I usually like keeping the space of 2.5 inches away from the edge. You see this part here where we have that crotch curve. I like moving 2.5 inches away from there, and I'm going to make a mark, sorry, at 2.5 inches. And then as for the length of my welt, I like a welt of around 5.5 inches. All right, so I use 5.5 inches for the length of my welt. All right, so that is the first thing we're going to do. Remember, I came from the edge here, 2.5, from here 5.5. This will work for this will work on most people. This will work for most people. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is what I just did now. You want to rule a straight line. You see this, a straight line across the darts. You see this, just at the bottom of the darts, a straight line across. If we're making this on a jacket, it wouldn't matter. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to put my finger on this point. I'm going to mark the back. Come to the other side. I'm going to make a mark on the other side. The next thing we're going to need is something called gum stay. If you're in Nigeria, it's going to be called gum stay. In the US, I'm not too sure, but look for something that is paperish. It feels like paper, and on the other side it has some sort of adhesive on it that is that's activated by heat. All right, so as you can see, it's very, very paperish. All right, so the next step, you're going to turn it to the opposite side, and if you can see there, that's the place where I've made the mark. The marks we just made now. So I made a mark here, and I made a mark here. When you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to cover that point with a gum stay. So you pick up your gum stay, and you're going to cut 3 inches by 7 inches. So from here to here, that's where 7 is. I'm going to make a mark there, and I'm going to cut 3 inches straight up. Okay, 3 inches here too, and then I'm basically cutting a rectangle. As you can see, you will take up that part, which is 3 inches by 7, place it on top of the part, and you're going to iron it all the way down. Like I said, it has an adhesive that is activated by heat. The side of the paper that has some sort of shine, that's the place where the glue is. So it's some sort of interfacing, feels very paperish. As you can see, it starts sticking to my fabric. Okay, so I'm going to iron it all the way down. So the next part is to cut the fabric that we intend to use for the welt. So this part here, the trouser, we're about to cut the fabric that would be used as the welt. The first thing you will do is you will come to the top, you will measure 8 inches at the top. All right, 8 inches at the top. If you cut it by 7, that will still be fine, but 8 inches is what I'm using, so I'm cutting 8 inches by 5 inches. All right, so here to here is 8, here to here is 5. All right, so it's 8 by 5, just like how we cut the gum stay. All right, so we are going to cut our gum stay the same size like the first gum stay that we cut. All right, the exact same size that we cut the gum stay is the size that I cut the gum stay that is in my hands right now. So you're going to iron it centrally, all right, around as balanced as it can be on the actual fabric. Place it centrally, and then you would apply heat to it. Now after you're done applying heat to it, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to draw a line on it. Now you see the line I have here, that line is 5.5 inches. We're going to need to replicate that line on top of this. So I'm folding this part. As you can see, after folding it, we now know exactly where the center is. So we'll come to that center, we'll place the middle of 5.5 on that line. You see this? Bent my tape, the middle of 5.5, we'll place it on that line, draw a line 5.5 inches. All right, just like the 5.5 that we have on the actual, on the front part of the pattern part, that's the trouser, sorry. So the next thing is to join them together. So we'll place it exactly on top of that first line that we had. You see, we'll stitch them together. So to the machine. If you look at what we have here, you will see that it's what we just had on the table. You see this line we have here, that's the first line that I drew, 5.5. This one on top of here, 5.5. You're going to take, you see this edge here, you're going to take this edge here, and you're going to align it with this one underneath. So you see the edge of this place, you're going to align that line with the one underneath, okay? And we're going to stitch a line from here to the other side, across to this part here, across to this part, making sure that when we get there, the end of this line matches with that line, okay? So as you can see, I've placed it on top. You see, I'm applying pressure to it, making sure that it stays the same while I slide it, while I slide it into place, okay? Slide. Now I'm going to stitch from top all the way down to the bottom of this line. Slide. Alright, when you've gotten to the end of the line, you're going to leave your needle inside there. Okay, my needle is inside there. Look at, if I try to take this out, it will not go because I left the needle in place. When you do this and you turn, what it allows you to do is it allows you to have very, very sharp edges. So if you're trying to make if you're trying to make an extreme turn, let's say we have a line like this and then you want to immediately come like this, you want to sew a line like this, you need to leave your needle inside there, pick it up, turn it to the place where you want, and by the time you stitch down, you would have a very, very sharp curve. Now I'm stitching down because a welt pocket always has a rectangular look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch down 0.7. okay, it's almost 1 inch. It's bigger than half an inch, but it's not 1 inch. I usually don't like my welt very, very big, so 0.7 is the sweet spot. Okay, so for those of you that do not know what 0.7 looks like, okay, let me show you guys. Okay, you see this part here, this is the beginning of the tape, this first line here, the medium line that we have here. So this is 0, this one here is half an inch, here is 1 inch, as you can see. This part here is 1 inch, but you see here, right here, this point here, okay, this line here, the line in between the middle of, you see this part here, you see that part there, that is where 0.7 is. So that's going to be the length of the pockets I'm making coming down. So I stitch down. When I get to 0.7, I don't need to measure 0.7, I'm not your mate, but you might need to. All right, so hey, look at what I was saying. If you look closely, you will see that there's a sharp edge right here. You see that? Let me stitch down some more. All right, you see that? See the sharp edge I was talking about? See that shape it has? It can't be there if you don't leave the needle inside. So I'm going to cut, come down, slap, and then I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing I did. All right, so let's go to the table. Let me show you guys the next step. We're going to need to cut something open. We're going to need to make a snake tongue. So look, when I turned up the camera, and the guys eat a small pineapple. It's choking me. When I when I said that we're going to make a snake tongue, yeah, for real, we're actually going to make a snake tongue. Now, how we're going to do that is, you see this edge here, we're going to make a V. Alright, so just simply write V, starting from, you see this edge? You see this edge here? We're going to make the first V starting from here, make the second V from here. We're going to make another V from here to here. See that, another V again. And then draw a line to connect them. Now, most times people would, you know, take time to draw the straight line. At the end of the day, by the time you chop here and here, here and here, and there's a line in between them, doesn't matter what you did under. Okay, now how we're going to cut this? We're about to crush the head of the snake. We're going to cut the tongue like that. Cut. You see this? When you get close to the V, you see this? I'm going to put a cut there. I have not broken my seam. Okay, that black thread that you see there, it has not cut the black thread. It simply just stopped right before where the black thread is. I'm going to repeat the exact same thing on this side. You see that? Right before where the black thread is. The same thing when we turn it around. We're going to cut pineapple alanga. It's no good. Make another cut here. I have not touched the black. And then make a cut here. I have not touched the black. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn all of this inside out, making these notches close to these angles, right? It allows us to turn the whole thing inside out. Pineapple is not good, oh. Alanga is not good, oh. Turn the whole thing inside out. You see this? I've turned the whole thing from the front. It's now facing the inside, and as you can see, there's visibly there's a hole right there. Where's my face? La baja. Anyway, back to the class. Now we have a hole that you can visibly look through. Alright, now the next thing is to iron. I'm going to press and iron it flat. And after this we're going to make the shape of the welt. Alright, so we iron here too. See this, really get those edges, okay? Really attack the edges so that. Now there are different ways a welt pocket can look. Alright, now there's the one that just comes, there's a pocket that just comes from underneath up. Alright, that's the one that they usually do behind like chinos trousers, and sometimes I see it on some type of denim trousers like that, where you see, I'm coming, let me arrange it, where you see the pocket sitting, where you see the welt sitting like this. You see this? Yeah, there's some of them that you see the welt sitting like this. All right, and then there are others, especially on jackets, where you see half of it coming from here to here, okay, and then half of it coming from here down. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to do both of them. Okay, so this is the most common type. All right, but on chinos you see the one where one comes from under and then covers the whole thing. Now if you're trying to make the welt the welt pockets that you see on chinos, this is how you iron it. Okay, so you have everything set like so. You iron everything down. Okay, iron everything down, lift this one over, okay, and you iron it. All right, and then you see this, you're going to fold it back to exactly where this part is, and you're going to iron. You see that exactly where this line, this top edge, that's the top part that we have, the top part of the welt, that is where you're going to stop it. Okay, I'm going to iron like this, and if I turn it to the other side, yeah, this is what you're going to see on the other side, the pockets that we usually have on chinos trousers. But that's not what I want to make the welt that you see on the back of tailored pants and jackets. All right, so what I'm going to do is you're going to fold from the top. You're going to fold half of the top. Okay, you're going to fold the top to reach halfway. Now you see it's from here to here is the full length. From this top part to here is the full length of the dart. Right, you're going to fold the top part to see it to consume only half of that space. Okay, which is what I'm doing now. All right, and then the bottom, you're going to fold the bottom part up. Okay, so fold up the bottom part, and then this part will consume only half of the down part. All right, thing is burning my hand. When I'm just maintaining, thing is frying my finger, maintaining as if it's not burning me. So if we turn it over to the other side, this is what we have. Okay, as you can see, we have the welt pocket that you usually see on jackets. You see this? Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, so that is how we go about it. So at this point, I'd like to turn to the front and then to fine-tune the pocket to make sure that everything sits equally. Okay, and then I iron. So next step, take it to the machine and show you how we stitch the pocket down. All right, because I will show you guys how to stitch around so that we don't have any tacky looking thread on top of here. You will not see any thread outside. All you have is the clean. Okay, so as you guys can see here, what we have here is the welt pocket that we just ironed. So we're about to stitch it. Now how we're going to go about it is this. Now we don't want any thread to show on top of here, like I have said. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold here over. See this? I'm lifting here. Okay, okay, so I'm going to lift here up, place my finger, keep my finger in place. You see this? And then you see this black thread we have under here. That's the first black thread that we stitched when we're forming the welt. We're going to stitch on that exact same black thread. Okay, we're going to stitch again, making sure that our needle lands on the same thread as we're going around. So you guys can see my line is landing on the exact same place where the first black thread was. Okay, you can't see, you have it's not landing up here, it's not on the exact same place. When you've gotten to the side, all right, if you remember, we formed a rectangle, so now we are at the side. You're going to do the same thing. Lift this up, turn the entire fabric around. Okay, and you're going to move this pawn out of the way. See what I'm doing? You're going to move this guy out of the way, drop down your needle again. You will still see another black thread there. You're going to stitch on that black thread down. When you get to the end, leave your needle inside again, lift this up, repeat the exact same thing. We're simply just moving the fabric that we can see on top out of the way. All right, and then we have a black thread here again, as you guys can see at this point. So I'm simply going to do the same thing, so on the same black thread. All right, when we get to the end, the exact same thing, move this one out of the way. You'll see the black thread that we stitched originally there, and I want you to stitch on that exact same place down to the end. All right, so by the time we're done, this is how it is, and nice, it will stay that way. If you look underneath, you will see this black thread. What this thread is doing is this thread is binding this part together. So this front part, the front welt here, it doesn't have any decision but to stay in place no matter what happens. So now if you wash, if you do anything, it won't scatter. Okay, the way you iron this is the way to stay until the end of time. Okay, so here what you can see is what I've cut here is the lining I'm going to use to turn my pockets. All right, and if you could check from here, if you check as if you can check from here to here is 8 inches. All right, just like how we have from here to here at 8 inches. So remember, we cut the distance from here to here at 8 inches, here to here is 8 inches. Therefore the height of the pocket I used 12 inches. All right, now you see the way I have placed it right beside my my trouser pattern. If you notice, it's sitting ½ inch higher than my trouser pattern. I did that for a reason, because that's how you sit at the end of the day. Now what we will need to do is this. If you see, I have a piece of fabric here. Now we're going to use this fabric to cover one side of the pocket. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this fabric to cover one side of the pocket. Now you see the way I've placed it. All right, from up here, okay, from up here you're going to give a space of 2 inches, and you want to cover it at least down. So from up here I kept the space, keep a space 2 inches, move it up a bit, 2 inches, and you want it to cover all the way down to be at least 5 to 6 inches long at the end of the day. All right, so it should be 5 to 6 inches long. You're going to need to cover one side of the lining, only one side of the lining, with a fabric. I'm going to tell you the reason why we are doing this at the when I'm done doing this. So this part here, you're going to need to flip it over like this, keeping it in the same position. Okay, I'll keep it like this. I'll stitch from here to here across only one side. When I'm done stitching from there to there, I'll come back and show you what is next. So if you remember, if you see, it was like this. It was like this. I simply flipped it over, and we're going to stitch here down at ½ inch. Remember, you are doing this on only one side of the pockets, not on both sides. This side here will stay plain. All right, so I'm gonna stitch it and come back. So here you can see the ½ inch line that I've stitched from top to bottom. What we'll simply do is we're going to flip this one over. Okay, you're going to flip it over like I have done. I'm going to iron it so that it stays that way, and then you're going to hem here at half an inch. If you want, you can use half an inch. Use half an inch to hem the bottom part of the pocket. Remember, we're adding this pink on only one side, so I'm going to stitch here so that I can bind the two of them together. All right, so I'm going to go and stitch here close to the edge from top to bottom. Then I'll come back and tell you why I'm doing this. All right, so you see this part. Now the reason why I've covered this place with the fabric is so that if I had just used this one here to create the pocket, what you would see is that if you look through this, you will notice that I'm seeing the color of my pocket, which is gray, which is not what I want. If you look at the welt pocket, as the inside of welt pockets, you still want to be seeing the pink fabric underneath. Okay, now that's the reason why I stitched this part where I stitched it. Okay, so that by the time we are done fixing, when you look into the pocket, all you see is the pink fabric. All right, that is what you want to do, and that's why I had to do what I have just done. All right, so now the next step is I'm going to take you guys to the machine and I'm going to show you how we sew this piece together. Okay, so what you're going to do, you see this remaining piece that we have here, you're going to measure out 4 inches. Okay, so you're going to come from up here, you're going to come to where 4 inches is, and you're going to make a cut at where 4 inches is. You see this from the top edge here, 4 inches, and make a cut straight down. So let's go to the machine so that we can round up this tutorial. Now you see these two pieces that we just cut. This is the one that has the 4 inches. You're going to pick it up, okay, and you see the top part of my welt. You see this part here, you're going to bind here and here together at half an inch. If you have your overlocker, your weaving machine, or you have a segger, it's at this point, after this step, you're going to need to weave it. So first I'm going to lock 2 of them together, half an inch from top to bottom. Okay, this is what I was saying. If you have your overlocker, your weaving machine, at this point you weave from here to here. All right, look at how the inside of the pocket is looking. It's looking clean. Okay, so the next step, now the remaining part, that's the one that is longer. Remember, we cut 4 inches off of this part here. You're going to bind here to the down part. You see this bottom part, you're going to bind here to the bottom part of this place. You're going to stitch them together from top to bottom at half an inch. Remember, once again, it's at this point that you would use your overlocker, your segger, your weaving machine to lock from here straight down to the bottom, so that that edge will be well finished. All right, so now on to the next step. The next step is we're going to need to bind this part. Remember this part here that we stitched that has the pink? We're going to need to sew this part together to this part. Now if you have one more thing, if you notice right now at the bottom part here, you'll see that this one is longer. That's because we have joined it to this one, and this pink part here has added to the length. So we're going to need to cut them again to become the same length. Okay, now if you have your overlocker, you can just weave around here and you're done with here. But if you want to take it the extra mile and then knitting everything, okay, first of all, notice you see in this place the pink is facing that hole. Like I said, if you want to go the extra mile, watch what I'm doing. I'm going to flip this one like so. You see this, pick the 2 edges, make them face the inside. All right, and then we're going to bind the bottom part. Let me show you guys something. So you can see the bottom part of the pocket. You can see the bottom part of the pockets that we have here. All right, you see the bottom part of the pockets that we have. See this place here, here is going to cover. See the way here is now well finished. We don't have any rough edge there. So to finish it off, okay, I'm going to stitch from here. You see this line here, I'm going to bind here and here together. Okay, see where this rough edge is facing? We want all the rough edges to now be facing the inside. So I'm going to sew that same straight line. I'm going to sew a straight line from here up and here up. You see these rough edges, you're going to bind them. Make sure you take this part out of the way when you're stitching. Stitch only on the pockets. All right, so that's what I'm doing now. The next step, you see this part here, we're going to stitch here and here together. All right, straight down from top to bottom. Okay, when we're done with this, you turn the whole thing inside out. Please remember that despite of what I'm doing, always use matching thread. Most times I don't use a thread that matches because I want you guys to be able to see every single thread that I run. Okay, if I use the same color on color, it'll be a bit difficult for you guys to easily see where all my seams are landing. So you see this part now, it's well finished on all sides. If we look at the inside here, you can see that it's the pink part that is showing. Okay, the last step would be to stitch around. Okay, so you see this, we're going to come to the top part here, we're stitching around, we're going to come here, we're stitching straight down. The very last, this is the inner pocket. Please remember, use the right color. If you use the matching color, and this will not look as you won't have so many lines like this if you use the right color. The very last step to forming the welt pocket is we're going to need to seal. Now at this point, we'll form the pocket inside. Look at this. Okay, we have a pocket on the inside. See this? You see this part here? Hello. There, that's the pocket on the inside. But if you notice something, the top part, we still have a pocket up here too. Okay, and we don't want a pocket going up. So what you're going to need to do is please matching thread when you're doing this. Use the same color of thread. I'm going to, you see this place, we're going to need to sew at the top here, in between here. You see this top part here, in between the top part and where this place starts from. We're going to need to run a line straight down. Okay, very, very close to the edge of the pocket. Okay, we're going to need to run a line there. Now this is going to make sure that we seal the top part. Now you see this, the black thread is almost invisible to you guys. All right, you see this, the black thread is almost invisible. It's when I turn it under that you can just see it very, very close to the edge. That's what you want to do. You want it to be very, very close to the top part, so close that if you use the same color of thread, it is invisible. And by doing that, you are not able to go up anymore. Look at that. Have you seen that? That thread I just ran now has sealed this place totally. So that's what you're going to do. Make sure the top part here is sealed and the down part is still open so that you can access the pocket whenever you want to. So this is the easiest way to make a welt pocket. So yeah, this is the back pocket. You see this? Lovely, right? This is so nice. This is nice. No, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. See you guys, hopefully see you guys on Wednesday. Bye bye.